What's happening, guys? Today we are looking at the 5 best epic nukers to take down Amius the Lunar Archon, and I'll actually show you at the end of the video a really cool comp using 3 of them together to take him down in 5 seconds. Sound good? Stick around. Now, I do have to caveat this saying that these are the best. However, if on your account you have bigger blessings on other nukers, they may be better, okay? And that's because blessings matter so much in Amius. If you have a 6-star blessing, you're dealing double the damage and taking half of the damage. That's how important it is. I've done a very penfold thing there, fixing my glasses, guys. Now, speaking of blessing, if you'd like your account to be blessed with brand new Spirit Affinity nuker in Karato Fox Hunter, then use the link below, guys. Okay, so starting up a new account, you can get Karato Fox Hunter and 4 free epics. Okay, free to play challenge going on at the minute. Karato, Tagoar, Uugo, Mausoleum, Mage, and one other little surprise there as well for you. Click on the link, guys, set up a new account and you'll have all of them for free. You can also go and check out one of my previous videos there where I go through a full week of your first week starting up of promo codes that you can use to get off to a flying start as well. So check that out too, guys. Now onwards to the video, and let's talk about our will we talk about our honorable mentions first? I think we will. We've three honorable mentions, possibly more, guys. If I miss somebody out, you let me know in the comments, okay? I'm sure there will be opinions there. All right, the first honorable mention, guys, is somebody I had to feed in the free to play challenge. I had to get rid of this guy because he just didn't bring enough. I didn't have the luxury to build him up, but he does ignore all defense on the A3. He does buff himself with increased crit rate, so you could in theory build him with 70% crit rate, start off with the A2 and then ignore all defense on the A3 for a huge nuke, and then the A1 can also hit an extra hit as well. Really good kit. On the when we done up the build on him, possibility for my account was coming out at over 100,000 per hit, so nothing to be sniffed at there, guys. Now we have, that was Faceless. Other honorable mention, then we have another ignore defense champ, and that is Dirandil. Now, I was very surprised I was in the right faction there, guys. So Dirandil attacks one enemy 2 times, places a freeze, not applicable, but it is a double hitter, and then the second one attacks AoE and ignores 15% of each target's defense and gives him some turn meter fill on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. And then on the A3 we have an ignore 50% of the target's defense and a perfect veil as well. And a perfect veil on Amius is not to be overlooked, guys. If you have an attack champion with perfect veil on them and you can direct the hits towards a tankier champion, you're going to be much better off. So Dirandil is our number 2 honorable mention, and then our number 3 honorable mention, which will lead us right into our top 5 as well, is this lady, Fylja. So Fylja, 2-hitter on the A1, single hitter on the A2, and then on the A3 AoE attack, and heals by 15% of the damage inflicted if the attack is critical. It always should be. Now this here means she's always going to be buffed up and ready to go, so every turn she's going to place increase attack and increase crit damage if she has less than 2 or less actually buffs on her at the start of her turn, and there's no cooldown on that, guys. So you might think to yourself, but Dahi, no, Amius turns buffs into debuffs. However, with her, the worst she's ever going to be is even Stevens, because if the buffs are on and the debuffs on, she'll be equal. Okay, so that's why she's a really good pick. She's never going to be down. She's always either going to be level, as in normal, unbuffed, or above. Okay, so I really like her, and she can hit guys as well. Not just in Amius, in other places too, especially with the Destroy Max HP, Doom Tower, Scarab, Spider with the turn meter steal. Very good champion. Now, onto the list. So, I'm kind of starting off with one of my favorites, and I'm leaving a more obscure one from number 1, okay? We have Gala Longbraids. I love Gala with her lovely red tresses there and the long braids. So, why is she so good? This A3 attacks one enemy 3 times, ignores 25% of target's defense on each hit, grants an extra turn if this champion has full HP after using this skill. So, you should, starting out, have full HP. That means she's ignoring 25% on each hit, and she gets to go again, in which case you go with this, will ignore 50% of target's defense when attacking under a shield buff. So you should have that if you're building her right. Heals this champion by 50% of the damage inflicted, places a shield buff on this champion equal to any surplus heal. So you start this, you then end with that, and you end up with a colossal big shield on you as well to protect you from any further damage. The more damage Gala does with the A2, the more survivable she becomes because her shield is huge. So then we go to the A1, which is a double hitter as well, also ignores target's defense. So all 3 skills ignore target's defense. So if you're building her with the right sets, getting more ignore defense, and if you have a good blessing on her, could be ignoring 100% of defense on every skill every time. So you're talking crushing rend, you're talking flawless execution, you're talking lethal set, you're not talking many other sets, because I'll tell you why. Pro tip at the end, guys, so stay for that. No list like this can go without this lady, and we know that. We gotta worship at the altar of Whisper. So Whisper is pretty cool in her onesie there. She has a single hitter with weaken on the A1. She has everything's single target, okay? Attacks one enemy. She also buffs herself, so increase attack, increase crit rate on her. I would still be building her with 100% crit rate, guys. I think that's the best way to do it. I wouldn't be relying on this. Now, what she does here, she ignores defense if the target is under a weaken. She brings her own weaken as well, so that's incredibly good. And the buffs are there if she's attacking a target with higher max HP than her, which is always going to happen. She has pretty low HP and Amius has loads, so that's not going to be a worry. A3 now attacks one enemy twice, grants an extra turn if the target is under decreased defense and weaken. We're going to want decreased defense and weaken on there, so she should be getting her extra turn on this every time, guys. So she'll start off with that, and that's why I don't like building her with 70% crit rate, because we want to be able to go lead in with this when the buffs are on, get the extra turn, go in with this, then do more damage with the increased attack, ignore defense, and maybe get more turns, because we want to build her in something like Relentless or something like that, guys. So this leads me on to what her passive does, which is a 10% chance of granting an extra turn whenever this champion lands a critical hit. But if it's on bosses, it's 20%, okay? So if you couple that with Relentless, you're looking at multiple opportunities for extra turns, and she has an extra turn mechanic built in already. Insanely good. Can get, I think my record for Whisper in Relentless and her passive going before on like one turn was something like 6 or 7. It was insane. I could not believe it. Killed the head of Mischief in Hydra before anything else was done. Insanely good champion. Really, really good. Now, next up, we have another OG, guys, and that is a gentleman in the Sacred Order. Can we guess who it is? Fenax. So Fenax, that's it. That's all we want. Just that. Okay, guys, we don't actually care really about his A2, which attacks all enemies, places block buffs and block active skills. We don't really care about the decreased defense and the decreased speed on the A3. A1 is, I believe, still the biggest single target hitter on an A1 in the game, okay? And if the target has any debuffs, he does it again. Oh, and by the way, you know how annoying Amius is in his second form? If you kill him, he revives, goes back into his first form, heals up. Not if Fenax kills him. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived. All we want is that skill for the double hit, biggest single target A1 in the game, and enemies killed by it can't be revived. So that's it. Put Amius in the grave early. That's our number 3, guys. Now we have an outside pick that not many of you would probably see coming, but is very good, and is very good for a very specific reason. So it is Oboro. And just in case you didn't know, guys, a lot of people build Oboro for mischief tank and all that kind of thing for Hydra, right? They build her for various different niche things, but Oboro can smack. Okay, so check out my top 10 Void Nuker video and you'll see Oboro can actually do a bit of work. Now, so if we look at this, she brings all her own buffs as well. We love a bit of that. Increased crit rate, increased crit damage, then attacks one enemy and places a veil buff on her for 2 turns if this attack is critical. If you hold on to that for just before he does his A1 in the second form, that's the big cannon. That's the move that we're always worried about, guys. So if you hold on to this until just before that, she'll have perfect veil on, so she won't be targeted because she's a squishy nuker. We don't want her to be hit, guys, because he will kill her and then he'll get extra turns as well. Amius has his own extra turn mechanics. That's why he's such a pain in the BOT, Tom. Okay, now she has a revive on death whenever they receive a veil or perfect veil as well. So even if she did get killed, she'd pop back right up. Okay, now on the A2, attacks one enemy, double hit her again. Second hit has a 75% chance of transferring all debuffs from Aboro to Amius, okay? And the reason that that is so good is, you know, Amius's mechanics. He transfers all your debuffs, all your buffs into debuffs, and all his debuffs into buffs at various different times. So when he's in the second form and he absolutely slaughters you with debuffs, if you have this A2 on cooldown, you can get all of hers onto him, and he may not be able to damage you then. So if she goes in there with increased attack, he flips them over. She can then pop the A2, give them all back to him, and Bob's your uncle. You're away in a hack, all right? Now, we have the A1, which is the sneaky reason we want her, okay? So attacks one enemy and has a 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Will attack all enemies instead if the target's under 4 or more. We don't care about that, okay? We just want the decreased defense on the A1. That is excellent. Now, Oboro is our number 4, and the last one, guys, one that maybe you won't see coming, I don't think, but it is a champion in the Barbarians, and it is none other than Alika. So Alika is, as Hell Hades always says, oh, she has the same braids as Gala. That's not what he says though. Yeah, she takes a library. She loves to read, alright? But attacks all enemies, 75% chance of increasing the cooldown of all enemy skills. Don't care about that too much. We can't do that on Amius. Anyway, the passive revives with 75% HP when killed when Sakara is on the same team. We don't particularly care about that. Anyway, this here attacks one enemy on a 2-turn cooldown when booked, guys, and will ignore 50% of the target's defense if the max HP is higher than this champion's max HP. Again, squishy attack champion versus Amius. Of course his HP is going to be bigger. So this is a really good nuke with a really low cooldown. Exceptionally good nuke, guys, right? Then we look at the A1. Attacks one enemy, 30% chance of placing an extra hit, which books up to a 50% chance of placing an extra hit, and this hit is always critical, okay? So you can do some funky things with that, guys. You can do some funky things, you know, potentially build her with 0 crit rate and look for a massive nuke off this, but you need luck to be on your side. So I wouldn't do that, but it's a nice little theory. Anyway, chance of a double hitter and an ignored offense. Exceptionally good champion. Really, really good. This is the same kind of reason that George budget is used in some teams to kill Amius really quickly, because there is chances of extra hits. So you'll notice a common theme through all of that, guys, and that is extra turns, extra hits, ignore defense. All of that will put Amius down and put him down really quick. Now, I did promise at the start of the video that we would look at a little composition that I have going on here, guys, and that is this here. Okay, so we have these all in a very specific turn order. Okay, so we have accuracy from Lady Mage, and Lady Mage is going to be our fastest champion, right? She is going to lead off with increased attack, increased crit damage, and she's going to ally attack with all allies, all using their default skills. So pop quiz, what were the default skills of all those champions I just showed you? No, I'll show you that now in a second, but this is really important. Everybody gets buffed, everybody attacks. All right, next we have Farrakhan, whose A1 has decreased defense. So now we have decreased defense on Amius because he is attacking first in the turn order on the ally attack. Now, second on the turn order, we do have Aboro, who also has decreased defense. Third on the turn order is Whisper, who has weaken. All of a sudden, we have decreased defense and weaken, and we have Alika attacking and potentially placing an extra hit on that as well. So we have Mage leading, giving us increased accuracy to help us out to land these buffs, decreased defense and an attack, decreased defense and an attack, weaken and an attack, and possibly a double hitter. And then that's only the first turn. We've only one person has taken a turn. That's the beauty of this, okay? And then we come in and we have Farrakhan. Farrakhan's going to lead off with increased crit rate and crit damage. He's going to do the same thing over again. All of the guys are going to go again. They're buffed up. They're landing the debuffs, they're doing more hits, they're doing everything. And then we have Sakara coming in. Sakara's going to come in with the max HP, or not the max HP, to ignore defense on the A2. Then we're going to have Whisper coming in. Whisper's going to get extra turns. She's going to go with this because decreased defense and weaken are on Amius. She'll hit with that. She will have an extra turn on that. Then she'll go with this. She will ignore 100% of his defense because he's under weaken, and she's getting a possible extra turn there as well because she's against the boss. So she could then go in with the A1 again, and who knows how many turns she might get. And then we're with Aboro again, and she can go in and land a few slaps again, and then maybe Amius gets a turn if he's not dead already, because all of our attack champions by this stage have attacked them 3 times each. Because of the ally attacks, they're buffed, they're ignoring defense, they're doing massive damage. Guys, if you want to see that in the next video, stay tuned, like, subscribe, click that link below if you want to sign up for a new account, get all those free goodies. GameLeap have that link for me, so use it. It is really good. It's the best out there. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one, and we'll run this, we'll crush Amius. Take care, guys. Bye bye.